I told you. We lost. We need help, not heroics.
No, we do our duty. Protect humanity, whatever the cost.
I can't be the only...
Entering atmosphere. Autopilot disengaging in 5.
We have a new mission, soldier.
4.
What is it? What's down there?
3.
A weapon.
2.
A weapon?
1.
How many guns do you need?
Oh, if I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me that. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at some of the guns in Halo Infinite. Despite being set 500 years into the future, Halo borrows a lot from modern military weapon designs, and we're talking about guns that may or may not have inspired Halo's designs, as well as what aspects work and what doesn't. The first weapon we're going to be talking about today is the classic Halo Assault Rifle, this particular model being designated as the MA40. The assault rifle is, as the name implies, a fully automatic bullpup rifle that in this game holds 36 rounds of 7.62 by 51mm NATO. Ironically, in the real world, the use of 7.62 by 51 would technically classify the assault rifle as a battle rifle. Much like the MA37 model from Reach, Halo Infinite's MA40 features an adjustable gas block, which is visible sticking out from underneath the electronics suite on top of the barrel at the end of the rifle. Visually, Halo's assault rifle has always borne a resemblance to the FN F2000, which itself is an AR-18 derivative, but that is actually purely coincidental. Visual designer for the first Halo, Robert McLeese, has gone on record saying he didn't even know about the F2000 until 3 or 4 months after the game released, even lamenting how everyone was going to think he stole the design. One thing that has always bugged me about Halo's assault rifle is the magazine. Now, I've always been horrible at eyeballing distances, but while the magazine appears to be about the right length for the .308 caliber, if not a bit longer, the depth is way off for a 36-round magazine, and much less for a 60-round capacity that the first Halo game had. I'd guesstimate you might be able to hold about 10 rounds in that space, but that still might be a bit optimistic. Moving on to one of my favorite weapons in the entire franchise, we have the battle rifle. The BR was seemingly based on the French FAMAS rifle, though this time chambered in a fictional 9.5 by 40mm cartridge. Like the assault rifle, the battle rifle carries 36 rounds in a magazine, and also like the assault rifle, I find that to be a bit unrealistic with a magazine that sits flush within the stock. The battle rifle fires in-game 3-round bursts, though in the extended universe, it is capable of firing on full auto as well. Traditionally, the BR is fitted with a 2x scope, making it a decent marksman rifle at medium range, and actually making it usable to a Marine who has lost his or her helmet. I really don't have much more to say about this rifle other than the magazine length problem. The battle rifle has always been a very solid design for me. The VK-78 Commando is a new weapon introduced in Halo Infinite. It's somewhat unique among the UNSC arsenal as it's not a bullpup, with the magazine being in front of the trigger. Lore states that the Commando is chambered in a 6.5mm caliber, though it's not abundantly clear if it's meant to be 6.5 Grendel or 6.5 Creedmoor. I'd go with probably 6.5 Creedmoor as it feels and sounds very powerful, and has a much more realistically sized magazine compared to the previous weapons, coupled with a smaller capacity of 20 rounds. The Commando features a red dot sight which somehow has a 2x magnification on it, and it's headshot capable even though it can be fired on full auto. Its rate of fire is slow enough that one could reasonably use it in a manner similar to the DMR from previous games. Visually, the weapon reminds me of a Chris Vector of all things, mostly due to the shape of the magazine well. The thumbhole stock seems almost ridiculously short, which is one of the only complaints I have about this weapon. Overall, I quite like the Commando, and although it may never replace the battle rifle to me, it is a close second. The Sidekick is the new pistol featured in Halo Infinite, and I've seen many players complain about how it looks more generic than the Halo pistols typically look, which is a valid complaint. I personally see it as an FN57 with a laser module attached, but in gameplay it does exactly what it's supposed to. It's a worthy backup weapon if your primary runs out of ammo. Like how handguns work in real life, you're not going to be winning any battles with the Sidekick itself, but if your enemy has already lost shields, a good headshot usually finishes the job. With the 50 caliber M6 series has typically been depicted as the UNSC's standard sidearm in previous games, the Sidekick feels more like an average weapon than an average Marine would carry. The Bulldog is a departure from the classic Halo shotguns of yesteryear, this time around sporting a shorter, boxier look that reminds me of the Keltec KSG, though the Bulldog is fed by a drum magazine instead of the dual tubes of the KSG. One complaint I've noticed about the Bulldog online is that it isn't as powerful as the M90 and M45 shotguns that came before, which is actually supported by the lore. The Bulldog fires a 12-gauge shell, whereas the other ones have fired the more powerful 8-gauge. With that being said, from a real-world perspective, it's the more realistic shotgun in the franchise. Contrary to popular belief, shotguns will make horrible weapons against super soldiers equipped with a thick titanium exoskeleton. The key to defeating body armor in real life is velocity, and the average modern 8-gauge shell measures about 1,600 feet per second at the muzzle. For reference, modern level 4 body armor is rated to stop a 308 armor piercing, which measures about 3,100 feet per second at the muzzle. Shotguns are adaptable and capable of firing many different kinds of loads, but buckshot, which is what we see most commonly in media, can be stopped by level 2 soft body armor. Given Halo's explanation for energy shielding technology, it makes sense that shotguns would be good at stripping shields, but less so against the armor that typically accompanies them. The last weapon I'm going to be talking about today is the Hydra micro missile launcher. I love the idea of this weapon, and maybe I'm just not using it right, but in practice the rockets feel very anemic, and in most scenarios I feel like I could have accomplished more with a Commando and a few grenades. Nonetheless, the Hydra features 2 firing modes, a dumb fire that launches the missile straight ahead, and a smart fire mode that locks on enemy infantry and vehicles. It takes about 3 to 4 rockets to take out an enemy Spartan, which isn't particularly great, especially when you compare it to the grenade launcher from Reach or the sticky det from Halo 4. I feel the Hydra would have been better with a damage boost, even if it meant losing the tracking feature. Visually and functionally, the Hydra reminds me of the XM25, which is derived from the grenade launcher portion of the XM29 Objective Individual Combat Weapon, which for those unfamiliar was basically a grenade launcher with an underslung assault rifle. This same program led to the production of the XM8 that I mentioned in my Crisis video, also an AR-18 derivative. Like I said, the Hydra is a neat weapon and I used the shit out of its predecessors in previous games, but in gameplay the Hydra misses the mark for me. That about wraps it up, guys. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.